Hello, everyone. My name is Dylan Edge Edgar. I'm part of SKL Esports, a Western Canadian esports organization based out of Saskatchewan. We hold tournaments in a wide variety of games: League of Legends, Valorant, CS:GO, Super Smash Brothers. We used to run Hearthstone tournaments. I was kind of at the forefront of that. Um, I am a master tier TFT player. I've hit master on both my main and my Smurf account this set. I was master in set 3 and set 3.5. Um, and I'm going to go over the new TFT set, so set 4. Um, Essentially, what we're going to be doing over these next few videos is we're going to be going over any news that comes out. So, for example, the news just dropped today about this. We're gonna play some games on the PBE, either with members of the community that I think are also very good at TFT, or just like queuing up. And then once the set actually launches, I'm gonna be hosting coaching sessions throughout set 4, and we're gonna be uploading those videos to our YouTube channel. So if you're interested in either SKL or TFT, whether you're a good player that wants to get better, whether you're a new player that wants to learn and get the edge on your lower elo opponents, I'm going to be able to help you with that. So today we had a new article drop about the new mechanics and the origins about TFT Fates, which is the new set. So we're going to go into that right now. So for starters, obviously Galaxies is leaving. For those of you who don't know, I believe it'll be on the PBE next week, and it will be on live on September 17th. So with patch 10.19. So I will be very much interested in playing on the PBE, and I'll actually be playing as early as next week. So expect some content about the PBE next week. So the new Fates mechanic is called Chosen. In Fates, one of the ways you'll be able to claim victory is by picking the right chosen champion. Here's what to expect. In your shop, you'll offer a chosen champion. These champions are already at 2-star level, so they cost 3 times their normal 1-star price. So as you can see, Garen costs 3. He's going to be a 1-star Warlord Vanguard that is chosen and that is 1-star. These champions have one of their traits or origin. One of their traits, either origin or class, is going to be chosen and counts as 2 HP of that trait. On top of that, they're going to get 200 HP and a unique stat bonus based on what chosen it is. So either 500 HP, 35 spell power, 50 AD, or 25% reduced mana cost. That's really strong. Holy crap. So for example, you can see Garen in your shop as a chosen. This particular chosen is a Vanguard. So the chosen is Vanguard. So if Vanguard's going to be the same as set 3 and set 3.5, the Vanguard trait is give my um, character X armor. I'm not sure what it is. I think the last set it was 150 for the 2 Vanguard trait, but we'll see if it gets changed for this. If you purchase this Garen, he will automatically be 2-star, come with 700 extra health. So obviously he gets the 200 plus this of the 4 tuning parameters. And counts as 2 Vanguards. So this is an insane tank early. If you get an early Vanguard Garen, like that's so strong. Once you buy one chosen champion, other chosen champions will no longer appear in your shop. So that's how they're balancing it. So this is going to be very similar to set 2 Elementalist Lux. Lux changed its elemental type based on what you saw in your shop. So like whether it's woodland or electric, whatever. And then once you bought that Lux, you couldn't get any other Luxes. So like if you bought electric Lux, you were only ever going to see electric Luxes in your shop after that. The other thing I think to keep in mind though is that I'm curious to see if this, and based on TFT, I'm assuming it is, if this is a shared pool. So if I get a Garen chosen, one of two things is going to happen. Either it will reduce the chosen Garens in the pool from 1 to 0, or it will reduce the amount of Garens in the pool by 3. I'm curious to see which one it is. As we get more information from Mortdog, I'm sure we'll find that out. I might even ask him on Twitter and find out, and I'll hopefully have these answers for when we play in the PvE. So once you buy a chosen champion, they will no longer appear in your shop. You can only have one at a time. Good, because that's busted. If you sell your chosen champion, they will start appearing in your shop again. Okay, also makes sense. So either you're going to want to buy early champions to lock in a direction, or do you keep yourself flexible for a late game pivot? So there are going to be 4 and 5 cost chosens. That's crazy to me. If you can get a 5 cost chosen, that's automatically 2-star. This has got to be like super rare because that is very strong. The other thing this is going to do, and they specify it here, is you won't be able to force a chosen champion every game. This is going to really heavily favor the high elo play of play your strongest board. So you could be going one direction and all of a sudden you get a chosen and you're like, wow, I need to play this. I need to start building my team around this. So I'm curious to see what the other chosen are going to be, because this one to me just looks like I'm going to get this early and start win streaking, because this is very strong. Now let's look at a few new team compositions. So as you can see, there's probably going to be a few things that come back. Vanguard is nothing new, but as we saw, Garen is a Warlord, so I'm curious to see what Warlords are going to do. So when you're first trying out the new set, the Warlord Synergy is a good place to start. Warlords are all about conquering your opponents in battle and powering up each time you do. When you activate the Warlord Synergy, your Warlords will get some health and spell power for each battle they win and victorious battle they've already been in. Oh, wow. So not only do you get power for just playing, so this is very similar to the Mountain Hex, where you want Warlords early, but at the same time, you also want to win. So even though it might be beneficial to have Warlords early, you want to make sure that you're win streaking. So you might actually want to take some of your 1-stars out to power up your board, to power up those Warlords quicker. The bonus increases up to a cap of 5. This means the longer you use the champions, the more powerful they get. Okay. Warlords have an additional 150, and then this is spell power, so 150 HP and 10 spell power, 400 then 600. So these two are the ones to keep in mind. These traits, whenever you're looking at a combination and you see a trait that has 9, this is going to be super hard to get, so we don't even look at this. This is like, if you get this, you probably should just win, and that's what this looks like. But this actually also looks quite strong as a 6 synergy. Each victorious combat they participate in grants additional HP and SP, stacking up to 5 times. So if you get 6 Warlords, you get a base of 425, and then on top of that, you get an extra 225 more spell power if you win 5 combats. That's really strong. This is going to be a very strong mid game, but then it's going to fall off because you're going to get this spike in the mid game because you've won 5 combats, but then everyone else should catch up to you in power level with their scaling comps. So this is going to be very much a streaking. So, oh, cool. So we get to see new champions too. So, Nidalee is a 1-cost Warlord Sharpshooter. Garen is a 1-cost Warlord Vanguard. Jarvan is a Warlord Exemplar. Pike is a Cultist Assassin. Katarina is a Warlord Assassin, and the Warlord is chosen. So Katarina, if she gets chosen, automatically gets the 2 bonus, which means you only need 1 additional Warlord with her. That seems okay. Cannon is a Ninja Exemplar, so ninjas are back. I'm curious to see if it ends up being the same thing. And Xin is a Warlord Duelist. So with this composition, you're using Katarina as your carry, an explosive backline assassin. I'm curious if Katarina is going to have the same ult as she did in set 1. Basically, it was her ultimate. She would spin around and deal a bunch of damage. Based on Gunblade and GA, it looks like she really wants to ult and then do a bunch of AoE damage. So I'm going to guess yes. The CC from Pike and Cannon. So one thing to keep in mind, Pike and Cannon were also both in set 1. Pike, his mana was 75 out of 125. And he would dash to the farthest target and then CC everyone in a line. Based on what I'm seeing here, I'm going to guess it's the same. And Cannon, based on the fact that he has a bunch of CC, I'm going to guess is also the same. Now, Exemplar is something different because Exemplar shields keep Katarina long enough alive. So it looks like Exemplar gives your team shields if you ultimate, is what I'm guessing, because you have Jarvan and you have Cannon as exemplars. Now there's just 2 of them, so that's obviously going to be a 2-set bonus. But as you can see, so we have 2 assassins, 2 exemplars, and 1 ninja. So I'm going to guess ninja's the same thing as before, where If you have one on your field, it gets a bonus, and then if you have multiple, you don't. So you have to pick and choose which ninja you get. But as for champions, I think almost all these made sense. So we have Blood Moon. Actually, sorry, Cultist. But this is Blood Moon. So I'm guessing like the Blood Moon skin line is Cultist. Jarvan, we know that already. Sharpshooter, if I'm gonna guess, so Nidalee, if she's a sharpshooter, is gonna be a range attacker. Based on what we know about Nidalee, I'm gonna guess it's her spear. So she throws her spear in a line at a target, and it's gonna deal damage. And based on the fact that she's in the back line and what I know about Nidalee in League of Legends, my guess is that the longer the spear goes, the more damage it's gonna do. That's my guess. We'll see if that's what it is. So Nidalee's gonna be a range carry. Moonlight. Moonlight is one of the most unique traits in the Fate set, offering something new we think you'll be excited about. Moonlight is a 3-piece trait, and all the champions are either 1 or 2 costs. Okay, so this is a really early trait. Once you do, the trait will upgrade the lowest star level unit by 1 star. What? In the event of a tie, the champion with the most items gets the star up. If you have a 2-star Diana, a 2-star Lissandra, and a 1-star Sylas. Okay, so Diana, Lissandra, and Sylas are going to be in the game. Based on what we're seeing from Diana, she's going to be just Moonlight, so it'll be her base skin. Lissandra and Sylas, I'm not sure if they're going to be base skins or if they're going to be one of their other ones. At the start of combat, the Sylas becomes a 2-star. You can use this trait to access 3-star champions really early on. Oh, it stays that way. Oh, wow. It just upgrades your... Okay. What happens if you have 3 Moonlight champions and they're all 3-star? If you said, I should get a 4-star champion, okay, this seems nuts. So this is a scaling comp. It's possible to reach new levels with the Moonlight trait, and we'll see TFT's first ever 4-star champions. These are very powerful to make for really cool carry opportunities. They aren't as strong as 4-cost 3 stars, but they pack quite the punch. Okay, that's good. That's how it should be. Because these seemed to me to be easier. Okay, so it looks like it's Coven. Lissandra is Moonlight. I don't know what skin this is for Sylas. But anyway. So we have Moonlight Assassin. So Assassin is replacing Infiltrators. Moonlight Dazzler. Dazzler is chosen. I have no idea what this is going to be. Probably CC related. Moonlight Brawler. So Brawlers are back. So that's going to be the same thing as before where they get a base HP. Vi is a Warlord Brawler, and then a Katarina Assassin. So you can choose to either hit your 2 stars and then move on, or you can slow roll and chase that 4-star dream comp. Cultist. Cultist is another one of our major origins with more champions than any other trait at 8 Cultist champions. Interestingly, this trait doesn't offer any power to the cultists themselves. Instead, cultists use their power to summon the Demon Lord Galio onto the team. The more cultists on the board, the more powerful Galio will be. So this is replacing Mech. So the more of these, so what I'm curious is if they combine into Supreme Lord or if you just get them on the field, and that's really interesting. Okay, so Cultist is Blood Moon. So like I said earlier, all the Blood Moon skins, they're going to be Cultists. Each level provides Galio a ton of stats and increased abilities. Supreme Overlord Galio is a monster with 700 health and 600 AD. Wow. But even Tyrant Galio is a solid 1800 HP frontliner with a big AoE stun. So my guess is that cultists don't have a frontliner because you get this. So this is an example level 7. So you have Elise, which is here. So she's a cultist exemplar. So again, something's going to give shields. Cultist Mage. So the default Mage is back. Cultist Assassin. Phantasm Vanguard. That looks like his Spirit Blossoms. So Spirit Blossoms are going to be Phantasm. Vanguard. Good to see Thresh back. Cultist Shade. Shade is another one that we didn't see. Callista is a cultist duelist, and the duelist is what's chosen. So I'm curious what the duelist is going to be. And then Aatrox is a cultist vanguard. So we have a bunch of new vanguards. Composition uses Callista as the primary carry. If you manage to get Duelist activated, we don't know what Duelist is. That'll give her a lot of extra power, especially with Ginsu's and Shiv. We don't know what Duelist does yet. It also uses Aatrox to gather everyone up, so that way when Galio arrives, you get the most value out of his massive slam attack. So I wonder... Cultists use their power to summon the Demon Lord Galio onto the team. So I don't think Galio starts on the team. I think Galio comes in, just comes in and slams over time. I'm curious to see how they track that on the board. Because one of the things that they were talking about specifically for Fates is that your board is going to change based on what's going on. So like if you get a 3-star, your board is going to change. If you level up, your board is going to change. So I'm curious to see if they're going to incorporate that board change with the Supreme Lord Galio, where it's like a timer in the middle, and then the Galio ultimate with like his Supreme Lord punch, which is going to land, knock everybody up, and then he's just going to go smacking people. That's my guess. But so Aatrox gathers everyone up, so I'm assuming it has something to do with his tether, where it like draws them in. So I'm curious to see how many people it hits. This is a good all-around comp, especially if you need to tear through a powerful frontline tank. Okay, so I'm curious what Duelist is going to do. It must have something to do with attack speed. And that's all for now. So, what did we learn? Well, there's quite a few new classes, as well as quite a few returning classes. All the origins are going to be completely different, which matches what we've seen from the last sets. Almost always it's the origin that changes, and then the classes stay relatively the same with a couple new ones added in. So let's take a look real quick. So again, the other thing we learned, Chosen. So Chosen is going to be one of two main aspects. Number one, you're going to get it early, and it's going to help you snowball. For example, Warlord Garen, and as far as I'm aware, it can be any champion, and it can be any class or origin that gets its upgrade. So whenever you see it, you're going to want to get it, and you're going to want to snowball with it. Or if you're already moving towards one area and you want to stay flexible, and you get a random Chosen that's completely off anything that what you're getting, you're going to want to wait and hope you get one later on. It'll be probably one of the two camps. Number two, Warlords are going to be your snowball early and mid game and weak late game. The reason for that, when they win, they get extra HP, extra spell power, and then it caps. So these are going to be compositions that likely you want to snowball early and then transition into some other late game carries later on. So this is going to be a composition that you probably want to either like just high roll and go for top 4, or start with Warlords, keep the good ones, keep the set bonus for the good ones for like a front line, and then get late game carries. The other thing to keep in mind, the Warlords that we know, Nidalee, Garen, Jarvan, Katarina, Xin Zhao. The other one that we know for sure is going to be Azir. That takes us up to 6. My guess is that there's a 7th, because this is a 9-cost synergy. Most of the time when you have a 9-cost synergy, the absolute bare minimum amount of units that they will have is 7. So my guess is that Azir is a 4 or 5 cost unit that uses his push. Now, whether it pushes people away or they bring in his Azir sand shuffle, where you go to the back and then push everyone forward, I'm not sure. It probably will be one or the other. Nidalee, Garen, Jarvan, Katarina, Xin Zhao, Azir, and Vi. And Azir has to be a 4 or a 5 cost. Moonlight, this works slightly differently than what I thought. The more I thought about it, it only upgrades it for that combat. Slow rolling, specifically with this composition, is that for that combat, it will upgrade a unit. So what you want to do is you want to make whatever your carry is have 3 items on it, upgrade all your other Moonlights, and then that Moonlight will become super strong for that combat. So like in this example, we have a 3-star Sylas, 3-star Diana and 3-star Lysandra, Diana will go up to a 4-star. So this is probably going to be a slow roll composition, hence why it's level 6. You have 1 costs, 1 costs, and 2 costs. Keep in mind, this set will have 58 champions, and they will not change that. So because of that, if they want this to be viable, I'm curious to see what they're going to do to the 1 cost rolling changes in this. Because right now, after you level from level 4 to level 5, you go down from 55% to find a 1 cost down to 40. I'm curious if those numbers are going to change. We'll see. We have, so Moonlight's the other, so we have Warlord, Moonlight, and Cultists as the origins. Classes so far that we already know that are 100% going to be the same. So Vanguards, Assassins, although Assassins they mention give spell crit. Assassins allow her spell to crit. So I'm guessing Assassins have been changed. So the last set, Assassins were you get attack speed. The set before that, Assassins were you get crit damage and crit and attack damage. In this one, I'm guessing it's spell and crit, like attack crit damage. So we'll see how that goes. As for Cultist, this is like a hybrid between Elementalist from set 1 and Mech. So essentially what it is you have characters, and they're going to, because of their synergy, create one large character. Elementalists, they spawned a gigantic frontliner next to one of them at random. For this, because it says it takes time to come in, this is the good all-around comp, especially if you need to tear through a powerful frontline tank. It allows Aatrox to gather everyone, so when Galio arrives, you get the most value out of his slam attack. I don't know what the timer is this is going to be. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm guessing it has something to do with the board. Like, the board is going to change. It will have a timer, and then slam it. Like, everyone's going to gather together, then Galio comes in and tries to finish off the fight. So he's not going to be a traditional frontliner. New classes. So Exemplar, Mage is probably going to be very similar to others, where it's like the Mage, the Sorcerer, that caster style. That's always going to be the same. We have Shade as a new class, and we have Duelist as a new class. And on top of that, so the origins that we know are in, we have Cultist, we have Warlord, we have Moonlight. The other one that we know for sure is going to be in here is Phantasm, and that's going to be based off the Spirit Blossom line. So my guess is, so we know we have Thresh, we know we're going to have Yasuo because that was in the spoiler at the beginning, and that's how we also know about Azir, is because of that initial video they showed Azir's skin. So I'm curious to see what happens here. And then, like I said, so Chosen, based on what I'm seeing, Chosen can be either their origin or their class, and it can be, I think it can be anybody. It can be any 1, any 2, any 3, any 4, any 5. I really hope that they don't have the ability to get level 5s at level 7. Because if you high roll a Chosen 5 cost while you're level 7, I don't know how you can lose the game. I really don't. So I'm curious to see how they're going to balance this. But yeah, I'm super looking forward to the new set. It looks like we have basically the same items as before. There might be some changes. We know that the Swordbreaker, the Chain Vest Negatron Cloak, is going to be gone. I'm curious to see what the other origins are going to be. I'm sure we're going to get that news later on. But yeah, that's going to do it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter at edge_skl or reach out to skl_esports. Check out our Discord at discord.gg/sklesports, and we'll see you next week for PBE.